Hey, Atlanta Fringers, I'm Eli. We're here at Do You Validate Studios. I'm here with Amber Bjork today with her show From the Winding Sheet Outfit. All we are left with is hope, a meditation on life and death through the facts and fraud of a Victorian spiritualist. Amber, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your show and what the audiences can expect when they come in.
So my show is about Elizabeth Desperance, who was a Victorian spiritualist medium. She was very famous for her time, but not very interesting. But I think that we kind of overlap really well because I am not very famous for my time, but I may be kind of interesting. So it is a little bit about her, but it kind of devolves into my midlife crisis about being an agnostic, being that person who's always searching for something else. What is next? Seances were very much like theater in that they sold hope and they sold a way to bring joy and delight to people. And that science says that that can actually help to lengthen your life. Oh, okay. So if you want to lengthen your life, that's why you should come and see my show.
Wow. Yeah. You will live longer if you come see this show. That's worth the price of a ticket.
Right? That's the selling point there. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So the show is part seance in a way, yeah?
Kind of.
Okay. All right.
Maybe. Yeah. It might happen. You don't know. I don't know. The whole point is it's very conversational.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time telling the audience that I don't know what's going to happen. And I mean that both in the show and metaphorically in all of our lives, right?
Oh, fantastic.
So it has layers.
Yeah.
It's an onion of a show.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. How long have you been performing this particular show?
Actually, I made this for the Tucson Fringe Festival this year.
Oh, okay.
So the Winding Sheet Outfit is actually my theater company in Minneapolis. And we make devised theater work. I also talk about this in the show. It's a very collaborative process. And with every show, I try to give myself a challenge. And with this show, I challenged myself to make a solo show, how does a collaborative artist make a solo show? I don't know. You just have to find out. But I also made a solo show because I work for the Minnesota Fringe and I am the artist liaison there. And I like to make sure that I kind of have my fingers in where the artists do. So I am constantly producing in the Fringe if I get in through the lottery. I do independently produced if I don't. Wow. And the one thing I've never done is take a show on the road. Cool. I made this show specifically to take it on the road and possibly be able to make it a companion piece to a show I did years ago about the Fox sisters, who were the people who basically started spiritualism. So if I ever wanted to remount that show, I have a little bit of a companion piece to it.
Oh, cool.
So there's many reasons why I made this show.
That's awesome. What have you sort of learned as you've started to work as a touring artist? How's that changed things for you?
Well, every Fringe is different.
Yeah.
And I really love that. And I mean, I knew that we all talk to each other and we all help each other out in different ways. And I love the different communities and the different feelings. Some fringes are very based in like cabaret and burlesque and game show, or some people really love one person storytelling or historical shows. Minnesota Fringe is very nerdy. Like if the topic could come up at a con or a Renaissance fair and it wouldn't feel out of place. With that comes like history and all of that stuff too, but also spoofs and getting really granular about theater and all of that business. Yeah.
What's something you're looking forward to here in Atlanta?
I have never been to Georgia.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
I'm actually extending my time here to tour Atlanta and Savannah.
Oh, good.
I am really looking forward to eating some fried green tomatoes and some grits in the place where it's going to be really great. I am really looking forward to seeing a few of the shows. I'm also in another show called Let Me Say This About That.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another Minnesota duo. They're a improv duo, and I'm kind of their third. Like they just kind of pick up a third. They have one person that usually tours with them, but that person isn't available. So I'm like, I'll do it. So getting to see the different venues and meeting people. There's a couple people here who are coming to Minnesota Fringe. So getting to know them. There's a few shows here that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I'm just having a good time.
That's so exciting.
It's a working vacation.
Good.
Yeah.
Why should people come pick your show specifically? What's in it for them besides just a longer life?
The unexpected.
Yeah.
The unexpected, because I do talk a lot about theater and seance and how those two meet in the middle. And I feel like you get a little bit of both in this, but also if you've had a midlife crisis like I am having at the moment and like that, you know, being right in the middle of your life and trying to live your life, if you haven't, you're going to have one. So you might as well come and see what you're going to experience someday and maybe beyond.
Sure.
Maybe beyond. You don't know. Yeah.
Be a little more prepared when that comes along for all of us.
For all of us. No one gets out alive.
No. I'm familiar with the struggle between trying to be a producer and trying to be an artist.
Yeah.
So can you talk any more about that balance and how you've had to transition from one to the other as you've gone into touring this performance from being someone who's managing so many other performances?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty used to producing my own shows.
Yeah.
And this one's actually a little bit easier because I don't have a lot of weird schedules to manage.
Yep.
But it makes my load a bit lighter because I know I'm going to step up on that stage and that people who are there really want to be there and they're wanting to see something different, a little bit spectacular, make a connection. And so one thing I really love about my role at Minnesota Fringe is talking to the artists every year when they come in and you ask them like, tell me about your show. And their eyes light up because people don't just do a show and they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing this Fringe show. They're like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
When you go forth and you produce something, you put your whole heart into it, right? So people get really, really excited about that. And it could be the worst topic in the world. You could be talking about the making of, I don't know, Nike shoes. You're not wearing Nikes. Okay. It's like, or Nike shoes. And you'd be like, great, tell me more. I just want to see the light in your eyes about it, you know?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, will you tell the Atlanta Fringers where and when they can see your show? And go ahead and give them the title because I have to read it when I tell it.
I think I have to read it too. It's called All We Are Left With Is Hope, a meditation on life and death through the facts and fraud of a Victorian spiritualist.
Fantastic.
And it's at the Dynamic El Dorado.
Okay.
Thursday at 7, Friday at 10, Saturday at 5:30, and Sunday at 2:30.
Wonderful. Well, Amber, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all go out and see the show, and we'll see you around the Fringe this weekend.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem.